Great morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. My name is not Army Piper, it's OC Guy, and this is OC Guy taking over. So if you were wondering, welcome, guys. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. Piper should be in the chat today. He has a last minute meeting, last minute compromise. Nonetheless, he asked me to take over, and of course, how could I say no to that? Because that gave me the open door to mention that coffee and OJ, it is the alumni official drink. And if you, and look at that, did I hear that? No pullbacks, no complaints. So cheers for that. By the way, I need to be honest, this is not, it doesn't have OJ. It has a little bit of milk. Still fantastic coffee. Love it. Let me take that in. Let's get started, guys. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me get started with you guys because you guys are the most important part of today's morning and also of every single day here in the Piper Academy. So Ninja Gluck, welcome, my friend. We also have Army Piper in the chat here. CryptoCon Mindset, welcome, my friend. Alexander GGG, what's going on? Thank you for jumping in. As always, the Mod Queen in the house. BC Port Corp, welcome, brother. Nice to have you here. CryptoCon Mindset already shouted you, my friend Robert Mulligan. What is up, bro? Good morning, everyone. He says good morning to you, my friend. Username, what is up, bro? Take your seat and start throwing some paper balls, and I'll throw them back to you, my friend. It doesn't matter that I'm on stage. Love it. XYZ, XYC, CXY. Good morning. Welcome, Wix Wife. Great to have you here. Rip chats in the chat also. Who else we have here? Mike Blake, welcome, my friend. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you around. Harp, what's up, my friend? Welcome. Great to have you. OJ does not play in coffee. Piper in the show, of course. But I'm taking over. At least, I mean, I think I can set this up. OJ does make plain, weird, right? How would I say that? Weird, right? But still, pretty good drink. You should try it. Who else we got in here? And I think that's fine. Harp, Alexander, and Wix, right? Last ones to comment here. Also, Army Piper in the show. So, guys, we have a lot of things going on. I think this is going to be a very exciting week for the news and numbers. I think this is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag, all right? So, there's an article that today morning Piper sent me. Hey, he says, you know what? There is a very interesting article that might help the alumni understand what are we looking for when we look not only at the calendar, at the economic calendar, but also what does the numbers or relationship within things happen, right? As always, I will have some opinion on the article setup. It is very well structured, very easy to understand, and of course, it gives you and leads you to some important things. But let's get started with news because news are getting heated. So let's do it and let's jump into the news. All right, there we go. We got it in here. It says OC, perfect hair. Oh, love it, my friend. All of it, brother. Nice. All right, so we have here a little bit of the post of the Kobayashi lady breaking China vows to take measures in the U.S. insist on going to own U.A.E. So this is in response to another early post that they did 46 minutes ago. Breaking China has issued a statement on the U.S. adjusting chip exports control. So claiming the U.S. Seriously undermines the consensus reached at Geneva talks. So basically, if you guys don't remember, the U.S. has been applying tariffs and also a restriction on what kind of chips they can get. That is just to limit where they can get them and how they can get them. But we've seen with the release of the China's AI that they have had access to those. So in many parts of the world, they've been being bought some graphics cards with this kind of capabilities, and I'm talking about the chips that China needs or has restriction onto, and well, then they being sent as a proxy buyers from one place to another. So that's something that's been happening. I mean, when you get a sanction, usually use or look for the way around it, right? So JR in the house, what is up? Erison Miller, what is up, my friend? Welcome. All right. Oh, we also have Ashoka Tano. What's up, my friend? Welcome. All right, so let's move on into what's going on in the world, right? At this point, we have also Watch Guru Justin, President Trump, economic advisor. He says U.S. debt is the safest bet in Earth. He might not be saying, he might be saying the truth, right? But I mean, we also see economy all around, or all debt around the globe. The globe is just kind of like crumbling. Proof of that. Look at that. What is happening in Japan? Japan's 40-year bond just hits its highest level over 20 years. Japan Prime Minister Ishiba, has called the situation worse than Greece. Oh man, that is something impressive. All of Japan's GDPs is contracting again. Remember, when they are having a higher price, that means people are selling it, not buying it. This is showing contraction of its economy, the GDP, basically people not getting Japanese debt in here. So let's go back and rewind and let's see. Just in President Trump's economist advisor says U.S. debt, it is the safest bet on earth. I would say that he's got a point, especially right now that we're going through tough time in the world. Frank the Dang, what is up? Also, we have Alex O Crypto. Welcome, my friend. Great to have you. What is up? Let me see those others in the chat, guys. So, yeah. So basically, just looking at this, well, then you might be saying, well, that doesn't seem like it. I mean, I see crumbling in this of the economy. This also part of the economy not looking great. But I mean, compared to the rest of the world, I think he might get a point. Maybe it's also paired up there with another economies, right? I'm not that 100% sure which other economy might be up all the way there, up with the with U.S. debt. But still remember that they hold the U.S. dollar, which at this point is still very significant on its role on globe. Hey, what's up, Django McLee? What is up, brother? David Brumbelow, what is up, my friend? Non-financial advice, he says. OC, what is up, bro? Welcome. Also, guys, let me know. Let me see all of the others. By the way, Alex, almost there. I don't know if you've been looking at the thing that I sent you over DM a couple of days ago. It was, I think, Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, give it a look. Oh, just so you know, guys, I sent Alex a hammock. A real, you could take an hammock. I need to send instructions, though, because, you know what? I forgot to add, like, the... what would you call that? I don't know, the add-ons. So, because when we build the houses right down here in South Mexico, we actually build them with embedded hooks in the wall, right? They're not actually hooks. They are like solid pieces of metal where they have two holes or a T structure, right? That the tree structure, it is embedded into the wall, so you see the pole coming out to you, and then the T thing, and that is to actually hang your hammock right of the world. And it is all a science, man. You can use it as a creep. You can use it when it's too hot. You can use it. Oh man, it is just fantastic. It is just fantastic. I'll make it shorter for you, my friend. But I'm very excited about it. So when you get it, let me know, my friend. That'll be a very fun day, I guarantee. And do not fall out of the hammock. It hurts. All right, let's move on into the news here, because everything's standing up around, like what's happening in the economy, right? Another thing, just in China warns of retaliation of U.S. goes its own way. And that is what we have read also right here and with the last note of the Kobayashi letter. So once again, tensions are building up, man. We'll see how that develops throughout the markets. Don't worry, we're going to visit a couple of altcoins and see what does that mean throughout the market spreads. Again, breaking, China has issued statement on the U.S. adjusting chips export controls, claiming the U.S. seriously undermined consensus reached on the Geneva talks. So basically what we talked about, sorry, at the beginning, they're citing this other comment. So far, so good. Still with tensions, but no actions have been taken. Take a look at the CME grouping here. This is going to be a little bit important because the next meeting is going to be, there we go, in 30 days, 3 hours, right? Basically, we still have 1 more month. But I want you guys to look at how are we looking. So we're looking at 91.6% now, rising from 420 to 425 over around 450 points. Let's take a look at what it says right down here. Target basically now that 0%, it is 375 to 400. Basically, that is where we are at. And 8% going, there we go, 8% rising at 400 to 425, and then 91%. But remember, we still have 1 more month to go, right? So this might be changing even in the last minute. We need to keep a track of this. Those are interest rates. They might be getting a slight rise at 425 to 450. That is so far a 91.6, 91.1, 91.8, right? So far throughout this week and 1 month. Well, then that it's a little different. But remember, we are at the beginning of the month and we need to wait as sentiments start flipping or changing throughout the days. So another things in Coinbase, guys, if you're living under a rock and you don't remember, well, then Coinbase got hacked, bro, and that is oof. Oh man, just so you know, they got a hold of a lot of things, for example, biometrics data from the clients. I think addresses or personal information. They did not have access to funds or anything like that. But remember, when they have that and they called you, hey, we're calling you from Coinbase, and we know that you have that much Bitcoin and this and this and that. We created we have an offer for you to Coinbase One, right, or something like that. We're reopening a new thing. You are eligible for an ETF worth of that. We're just offering this to 2,000 people around the globe. The only thing that you need to do is to migrate your Bitcoin that you have here to your new wallet that is going to be inside your account, and it's going to be funded with the Bitcoin that you moved. And then what happens? They read you out your data. If you didn't know, and this is a little trick in here, all right, so you understand what's going on. It is when somebody is trying to engineer you, do some social engineering, the first thing that they will do is give or read to you your data. That creates a bond of trust. All right, so maybe I'm too loud in here. Let me see if I can adjust my microphone. If that went to, perfect. If that sounds better, let me know. If that is worst, also let me know so I can see here. Also, guys, quick intermission. Remember to hit that like button. It really helps us out with the algorithm. Other than that, let's continue. So when you're getting a social engineer, one of the first steps it is create some trust, right? So, hey guys, I'm getting called by somebody that knows what they're talking about, right? They know exactly how much Bitcoin they have. They know exactly my address. They know my my phone number. They know my everything, right? So that is usually what also the companies do when they reach out their clients, right? They build that trust link. Curtis, hi, what is up, my friend? Welcome to the morning market report. Robin Mulligan, see, it's always Q5 and live sounds great. Thank you, my friend. Always appreciate your feedback. Really glad that you're liking it. So perfect. What we got in here, it is basically that. So what happens? They contact Coinbase CEO and they told him, you know what, we want, what was it? 13 millions or 3 million, something around 3. I don't quite remember what was exactly the amount, right? Let's just, for sake of not going nuts on this, let's just call it 3 millions. I'll make a site searching here and give you guys the exact data in a second. But what he said was, you know what, the first thing that we're doing, it is we already know which accounts are getting damaged, and if you're getting damaged by the information leak, please contact us and we'll fully reimburse you. Great. I mean, I think that is what most or all of the crypto projects should be doing when confronting something. It is owning up to it, right? Like, hey guys, we fucked up, right? I mean, we fucked up. The first thing that we're doing is fixing our mistakes, right? Taking security measures, right? They did that. So they actually mentioned, well, we're also taking some security measures for this not to happen in the future, or at least to be much, much difficult for it to happen. Remember what happened with Sony back in the day, right? When they released, what was it? PS3 and also the Vita, right? They say that it was unhackable. And what happens? Boom, shakalaka. One of the easiest hack in the world, revealing a serious threat in there just by renaming some folders in hidden directories, right? So nothing is unhackable. As long as they're public and connected to the internet, there is a way in. Remember, the important here is not that your enterprise or the sector that you're in, it doesn't get hacked. It is that if they do, because they eventually will, all right, and that's goes for everything, it is that they take the countermeasure and they protect you over and above everything else, right? Another thing, keep as little personal data out there, by the way, right? And when you see that some of those sites are getting hit, well, then change your personal data. In fact, let me just get a new window here, because I do have there we go, a webpage that I want to share with you guys. This is not a sponsor, all right? This is not a sponsor or anything like that. But this is something interesting, just to add to, guys. If you don't know, if you have been pwned, all right, just use an email here, right? Do not do this on public. And if you do, well, then you type your email here and then click check, all right? And then you're gonna be seeing a list of things to where you got pounded. So also remember, check out when you got pounded, the date, because if you have changed your passwords before or after that had happened, well, then you're okay to go. And if you haven't changed your password by the hack had happened, you have some homework to do, all right? So have I been pounded.com, not a sponsor, but a very, very nice tool to be having on hand. Please, guys, use it. At least your important emails, right, that are out there, like related to your bank accounts, to your crypto stuff, and everything else, right? And something also important, use it. First, run your antivirus. Use something like Brave browser, and make sure that your Brave browser it does have. Oh, and I cannot show you that. I don't know why. Right here, where is the Brave thing? It should say shield are up for, and then have pound.com. All right, so you cannot see that, but nonetheless, take all of the security measures every single time. All right, you don't want to get entangled with that. So basically, what happens is that then they go and they say, well, we got a ransom saying that if we do not pay them this amount of money, they're going to be leaking that information, right? Our client's information. Let's turn that around. We already have taken security numbers, right? Security measures. We already are contacting the accounts that we know that they've been hit by this and fully reimburse them, right? And plus, we're gonna be offering the same ransom money, but to anyone that leads to the capture and prosecution of the hackers, right? So I think that is amazing, guys. I think that is fabulous. I do. If I had a hat next to me, I'll take off my hat for Coinbase. So Coinbase, you're doing it great, my friend. Again, not a sponsor, right? Not a sponsor, but I think they did what it needed to be done. Own up to it, fix the issue, show and tell you how they're gonna be fixing the issue, right? So counter measurements, and of course prosecution of whoever did that. Why? Because if you get hit, well then you don't want to go notice and said, well, you don't want to send the wrong message to the thieves that if you hit Coinbase, it's just going to go like nothing happened, right? You want to see a prosecution. They hire the hackers, lol. JK is just them. Could be, man. Could be. +1 Ozzy guy. Thank you. Dev team. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Guys, nice and cheers. By the way, happy Monday. Happy Monday. If nobody has tell you that, happy Monday. All right, let's move into what is around here. And I want to go over Ripple. Well, Ripple, it's been basically holding up like a champ. And we can see that they are not just sticking. I mean, they're just not stop moving. They're just, man, they've been just trying to find their way out, even in the most adverse situations, right? And why is that? Look at that. Ripple payments moment. Oh, come on. Well, there you go. Then we'll go to the tweet. Ripple payments, its momentum is building in the U.A.E. on Ripple, this and this and that, right? Following our DFSA license, Bank and MemoPay are now live on Ripple payments. So they're trying, or it seems to me that they are trying to consolidate their U.A.E. Spot, right, by now partnering with two important payment solutions. So I think this is amazing. I think we should be taking note of that. And despite I don't like Ripple, and let me remind you that it is a centralized chain, all right? I don't like that, but still we will need some substitution of fiat if we want to have, or if we want to have some massive adoption, right? So maybe some enterprise like Ripple, some entities like Ripple that are centralized might be helping us to get there. Nonetheless, we'll see what happens with Ripple up in the future. So let's take a look at now, before we move into the chart, let's take a look at a couple of things, all right? Let's get started with Bitcoin here. And then I want to go to the special article that Piper prepared for you guys, all right? But so far, what's going on with Bitcoin at this point? Well, we are on the same range. Have anything changed? Well, the pump and dump that we had throughout the weekend, all right? So basically, all that we gained, it's all that we lost within one single candle. Does that represent a change of what we're looking for or what might be happening? A little. And why is that? Because I want you guys to know that we are building up lower or higher lows, right? Higher lows and higher highs, right? Usually that kind of patterns, like in here, end up having a big reversal. But that big reversal can reflect if we are above a big support, all right? So we're going to be having that reversal till that big support. Where is my big support? Look on my dynamic reactor. Look at that we have a megaphone in here, right? The blue line megaphone with a median in the center. So the center of that megaphone, which is coexisting with the dynamic reactor, and also another trend line that we drew past the past Friday, if I'm not mistaken, right? So let's just get rid of this for now. Look at this, hit, 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 and then what happens? I'm actually falling short of that hit. So let's prolong it as much as we can. like that. And then, of course, let's lock it. So basically, going back down here, we were looking at these two areas. If you take a look at here, this is an area of resistance. Why? Because if you go look at that, what we got in there, we had, well, it's not actually in this time frame. We're looking at 15 minutes. But if we look at here in the 15 minutes, and let's go check it out, we had like the top of the range in here, right? So let's just give it 1 second for it to load, and then we'll see. Most likely, we're going to still having the same both order block and support and resistance as well. As far as resistances, not there anymore. Let's see, do we have anything else? Let's see if we still have those order blocks. Yep, there we go. We have a order block in here and an important predictive line right there. So basically, we're looking at that area for support and resistance. Let's go back to the 4 hours, all right? And what's going on in here? Well, then we just created a new, and I don't know what's going on with this. This is just not working on my end. 1 second. All right, perfect. I think I got it. So we're looking at not only that, look at what other trend line we had going on in here. And this is not a new trend line. We've been drawing this trend line for a long time. So let's just, now that we have that another peak, let's go ahead and lock it. And there we go. Look at that. We broke it. It's not about the breakout. It's about your retest, your first short. There we go. And then you just go back and forth. Your next short is in here with your flip of the ribbon. Nice. All the way back to some support. So remember, also look at that. Oh, in the 4 hours, we are looking at these higher lows, right? And as long as that keeps playing up, we're gonna be going higher. I am looking for the area where we lose it and we do something like that, all right? Just like it happened here. That is gonna be defining, all right? Also how it happened here. Look at that, we were going up and then suddenly I flip on the ribbon and then going all the way down here. So that's why I have my eyes both at the bottom of this trend line and where everything else is coexisting together. Let me just remove everything so you can see it. And look at where my alarms are, right? I think this gives you a much cleaner overview, right? At 101, right? And also at 100K. So basically, those are my re-entering zone. If we have this strip of the lows, that'll be a fantastic move to grab some cheaper Bitcoin right there. And this is not something new. All right, perfect. How can we tell if this is going to be going lower or higher? All right, and this is where we started looking into the data that we have, right? So let's go and read this article, guys. I think this is going to be a very, very important article for you guys to keep track on, all right? And here's for U.S. economy index with crypto implications this week, all right? Sorry. So let's go back in. Where do I have it? There we go. This is my calendar, all right? So far, what are we just looking for? What we always talked about, right? This is this week, Monday. Monday we have 3-year bond, 6-year bond. Oh, this is Europe, sorry. Fed basic, Fed nothing, CB 3 months, 6 months, Fed long speech, not really. Fed, let's see, not much here. 30-year mortgage, maybe. MBA 30-year mortgage, this could be a good one. What are the things that we look for right in here? Crude oil, perfect. That's why we keep an eye on what's going on with crude oil. What else do we have? So on and so forth. Oh, look at that, the 20-year bond. All right, that is another important one. What else do we have? Existing home sales, nice. Initial jobless claims, perfect. So you see that this repeats over and over and over, right? And you might be saying, well, I know that Piper has already kind of explained it. In fact, he's been going in depth in this, but what does that mean, like in particular? Well, guys, save this because this is not for just this week. This is for every single time that we have initial, for example, claimless, jobless claims, every single time that we have PMA readings, and every single time that we have, in this case, April, but just change that April for X name of your month, right? existing home sales. All right. So basically, initial jobless claims. Let's take a look at quick looking here. Too long didn't read. All right. So Fed policy expectations impact Bitcoin as traded gauge signs of economic strength or weakness. All right. So initial jobless claims. So is the economy going great? Do people have money to spend on something else, or are they constrained because they don't have jobs and they are claiming that initial help from the government because they are jobless, right? Basically, if they are jobless, they don't have the same income that they used to, and most likely they're not going to be buying into risky assets, right? So there we go. That is an important part related to Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin, it is a risky asset. PMI readings, both services and manufacturing, signal economy momentum, all right? Below forecast numbers could trigger Bitcoin rally. So wow, why? What is it? We'll see it in a second. April existing home sales could affirm economic slowdown fears. So what's going on in here? So pushing investors towards crypto as hedge against instability. All right, here's where I think it's getting a little fuzzy. All right, I do have a couple of comments before we go ahead and read the rest of it. Let's explain a little bit what happens here, right? Home sales. All right, so existing home sales. What happened? If you are in trouble, are you going to be selling your house, or you rather get a mortgage on your house, right? If you sell your house and you don't have the money because you're going through financial instability, well, then what happens? You're not going to be able to buy a new house, right? I think people rather like or prefer to have a mortgage on their home, which they can repay over time as they get a better job, as they get a financial stability, and not start paying rent, which is an extra expense, right? So also, what happens with acquisition of those home sales? So if you're comfortable with what you own, all right, or what you are getting paid in your job, or at least you find yourself with certain stability, you might be looking to get another home, right? Maybe better positioned. Maybe you're just looking to even venture to change states or something, right? Or getting closer to your job site or whatever, right? You could be looking to sell your home, all right, to get a new one, maybe a better one, and willing to take maybe that high risk or even a loan from the bank to initially pay your new home, and as you sell your home, well, then you get that, and then you repay your new home, but just the difference being spread throughout a couple of years, right? And why is that? Because you feel that you can handle that extra expense, right? So that's why increasing home sales could benefit the overall security on how people feel and what's going on with the instability on the markets, right? What happens then with crypto? If you are much more secure, well, then you could be selling your home and not selling or buying your crypto. What happens the other way around? With big enterprises or big entities might be just looking at something to hedge that, if that is if you are not having increase on your home sales. So that is a little bit of a puzzle, because at the same time I would say, all right, maybe if I'm me OC, right? I am looking to maybe not sell my house. It's already paid out. I'm okay with it, what I'm earning. Trading is going great, right? And well, then at this point, maybe I do renovations and I'm okay with that, right? So what would I do with the extra money that I feel that I can afford? Well, then in that case, I'll be putting into an investment, right? Something that gives me maybe a fast payback, which could be Bitcoin. All right. So this is a little bit of what I do expect, because at this point, the pump that we're having, it is based on retail. It is retail driven. So that's why I do have a counterpoint against the explanation of this exact point. All right. But how do you tell? You look at different metrics, right? And then you see, all right, how is retail feeling? How is movement of Bitcoin doing? And then you go to your charts, right? And as we do, like for example, in here, where is or how bullish I am? Oh, I'm pretty bullish. I should be pumping. I'm still technically below the zero line, but making higher lows. So the market so far, it's still being positive, right? Despite we're having the first signals of big sellouts at those points. Somebody's taking some profit. So far, we are optimistic on Bitcoin. When we do this, right, and then we do that, well, I said the optimism is now broken. Well, then let's read what else we have in the markets, or whatever we have in the data presented, right? So it's not single-sided. Here, we need to combine that data. This article makes a fantastic, phenomenal explanation about this, right? So let's go ahead and just do a quick readout, right? Remember, this is for this week. Top U.S. economy data for crypto markets this week. This is not exactly for crypto markets. This is for risky assets, which in this point, we're looking into one of those, which is Bitcoin, all right? So the following U.S. economy data could influence it. Here's the, all right, here is the keyword. Could influence. It is not telling you, will definitely, absolutely, no questions asked, influence, right? In sentiment, all right, again, another one, sentiment or price, right? For Bitcoin and crypto this week. This is telling you, if we're feeling positive based on what we see here, we could be seeing Bitcoin price going up or going down depending on what we see there. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Another quick reminder, click that like button. It really helps. Initial jobless claims. So let's take a look at what's that mean. Initial jobless claims reports weekly, measures the numbers of individuals filing for unemployment benefits, right? For this first time. So basically, who is asking for that money? For government support. It's like, hey, government, I voted for you. You are supposed to be helping me. What is the worst time for me? This is it. I have no job. I need your support. This indicator reflects labor market health for crypto markets, influencing investors. All right. Sometimes investors don't rely too much on jobs. That is the key factor. Sentiment and money policy expectations. All right. Here is a current labor market indicator that could shift markets expectations on Fed policy. So how is the jobless claims? How is the rates? Should we be rising rates or should we be lowering rates to keep both inflation and also not hurting the American people? So if we if we lower interest rates, well then guess what? Money machine just goes brrr, and people usually get a little bit more money or extra money there. And well, sentiment usually goes positive and we go up, all right? So that is the backslash of the initial jobless claims, all right? So let's see what else we have here. Services PMI. I'm going to be giving you guys this setup for you guys to read, all right? So let me just copy this and then paste it for you here so you guys can follow up. I think that's going to be a fantastic link for you guys to have in hand and save it, all right? Save it. Service PMI released monthly by S&P Global, right? So S&P, it is the one releasing the service PMI. The service PMI's gauge activity in the U.S. services sector. The U.S. economy indicator covers areas like transport, finance and hospitality, right? For crypto markets, the services PMI influence risk sentiment, all right? Risk sentiment in U.S. dynamics. Reading above 50 indicates expansion, while reading below 50 indicates contractions. Strong data such as April service PMI at 50.8, remember, above 50 signifies expansion, all right? Search suggests economy resilience. So basically, what does resilience means? Strength throughout change, all right? So you're surviving that change of basically what's going on. So not maybe a growing economy, but you're still above 50, all right? So 50.8, almost 51. Resilience, we're still intact, we're still holding up in there. We're not growing, right? We're not expanding, but we're absolutely not contracting. Strength in the USD and reducing appetite for speculated assets like Bitcoin. On the other hand, weak data potentially below last month 5.8 reading or 50.0 can fuel crypto rallies by signaling slowdowns. All right. So who are we talking about here? Investors, right? Or people like us, retail. All right. Are we going for investing in Bitcoin? Perfect. What do we want to see? We want to see other data, right? Like what? What are we looking at here? PMI influence risk sentiment, right? In U.S. dynamics. So we see the sentiment could be influenced by the resilience. So this is maybe a ranging zone, resilience, right? If we're going lower, maybe 59, something like that, well, then it's time to maybe start allocating some of that money in Bitcoin or some other assets because we could be hedging against it, all right? So crypto traders track this, perfect. Crypto traders, all right, track this indicators for its impact on macroeconomic trends as services account for significant portions of the U.S. GDP. All right, let's just keep this as is. Manufacturing PMI, we're almost at the end of the hour, so let's just wrap this up. Reports by S&P Global, again, manufacturing PMI measures activity in the U.S. manufacturing sector. So manufacturing sector, who is interested in that, and how could that interest be migrating to Bitcoin or some risky assets? Like with the service PMI, a reading above 50 indicates expansion, right? And below 50 signifies contraction. For crypto markets, it indicates, reflects industrial, all right, health and influence USD strength and risk appetite, right? So what would that translate to? Because here, all right, which part of the sector are those big manufacturers, are those mini manufacturers, or are those small manufacturers, right? That's why it's important to see which part of the S&P it's moving, because depending on which sector might be different leakage to Bitcoin, if that makes sense. For example, right here, let's take a look at crypto. Traders will watch Thursday's flash PMI release for directional cues, with forces near to 49.8. A reading below this, a projection, which is what is expected, could spark a crypto rally. All right, once again, a reading below, all right, this is the key word for us. Reading below 49.8, all right, could spark a crypto rally. So again, remember, just save this and go, all right, what is the service PMI? Are we looking for a price above or below? If it's above, what am I going to be maybe looking for, a short or a long, right? Or taking some profits or opening some shorts, right? Depending on your situation. This project could spark crypto rally, signifying deeper economic challenges. However, it comes in above 50 or above April's 50.2. It might rub bullish crypto momentum. All right. So again, we also need to see resilience, and just a pullback wouldn't mean a collapse of crypto. But again, we are looking toppy right there, right? Another important one, and I think this is one of the ones that I was explaining at the very beginning, existing home sales, right? The National Association of Realtors reports existing home sales monthly, which track the annualized rates of pre-owned, here is the key word, pre-owned home transactions. All right, they are not new builds, they are pre-owned, existing. All right, the latest data shows a projected 700K sales for April 2025, down from March 724,000. For crypto markets, this indicates reflects consumer confidence in housing market health, right? Indicates shaping monetary policy and risk sentiment. What I was telling you, if you feel that you can maybe afford a new home by selling your old home and maybe get a better, closer, bigger, or whatever you like, well, then you're gonna go for it, right? If that is one of your priorities. So a sharp decline to 7K or 700K signals an economy slowdown, potentially boosting crypto as investors seek alternative. All right, this is a little bit of the part I was telling you. Well, what happens with those people that maybe they do have that increase maybe of a salary, right? Maybe, or we had a great trading weekend or week or month, right? But we're not there yet with, you know what, I don't need to move out of my home, right? I don't need to sell it. Well, then maybe looking at even is stable, right? Still on somewhere around 700K will also implements that I will allocate into a risky asset, in this case, maybe Bitcoin, all right? Disrupts combined with the tariff pressure and high mortgage rates, right? So mortgage rates could enhance Bitcoin appeal as a hedge, especially if paired with weak PMI and jobless claim. This is the key, guys. PMI, negative number of PMI, negative number of jobless claim, right? And then what? A decline to 700K on what? Existing home sales. That will be a possible long for Bitcoin, all right? So far, this is what we got. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day. Let's go and take a look at for something like XRP. Let's just also revisit Bitcoin. Let's see how can we maybe position in there. Perfect. So we've been seeing XRP trying to reallocate here. In fact, throughout the weekend, we had a half of an entry already being executed. Remember, if we zoom out as much as we can see big trends, this is the trend line that we've been following. It's not about the breakout, it's about your retest. In this case, what happens, TP number 1 should already have been taken in here. And then we are slightly on profits. We need to be careful because yes, we could be making a bullish divergence. And why is that? And why then should I be careful? Because right here I have a higher low, and here I have a lower low. All right, and also I have a lower high. So direction of my price, it's directly inverse to direction of my momentum. That is usually a creation of a bullish divergence. All right, good morning, crypto. Dijin, what's up, my friend? How's it going? Little fish, welcome, bro. So there you go. Basically, already have entered into this one. We're holding on into this same trade. TP1 should be already being taken. At this point, we're just looking to see a breakout on a trend line in here. This is going to be our trend line because we already have the next point. And if we don't, well, then at this point, remember, keep your stop loss. And then we're going to go for much better areas of entry. That's why we have a support area right here on an alert at around 205 and also around 196. Remember that XRP, look at how it's been playing out, fairly stable, while even Bitcoin, all right, had its very big sharp movement to the downside, and then a movement to the upside. Well, XRP has been pretty much on the same zone so far. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin here. Let's do a quick analysis. Let's take a look at the 15 minutes. Let's see what are we maybe what could we be looking for. We already have a double bottom. Let's wait for my indicators to load so I have the basic information. All right, let's wait for this one. And come on, Trading View, whenever you want. There we go. We were bearish till this candle right now. Big body candle so far, breaking through dynamic reactor. I want to see that one close like that, having maybe a goose head or a reversal down in here that maybe takes me back to dynamic reactor entry. Off we go. There's also the chance that we maybe make a little bit of a flagging here. And Alex, oh, if you are around here, once you see it, you can't unsee it. A balloon dog or a balloon dinosaur. I would say, how is it called? That long neck dinosaur pattern. So very nice. There we go. So looking slightly bullish right now. Look at my prime score, very bullish. My consolidation score, it is high. So basically, I should be ending the consolidation now. What consolidation? This consolidation. And we have already a couple of candles breaking through. I still need to see that reversal, that change of color on my candles. And then off we go. So let's go here, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. We had a lot of news to go through. I know it's Monday. Maybe we just need just 2 setups for today, but I believe that right now the core factor, it is at what Piper had prepared for you guys today, like how to read the new data that it's about to come out this week. All right, so we're going to be preparing and allocating our positions this week based on the new release data, so we can prepare and then execute as we can. Remember, when they ask you, hey, how do you knew? It is because you were prepared. All right, so I know maybe this might not have like record views, but absolutely it's gonna be an impact if you guys are taking those measurements, right, to allocate your positions, and now you know what you're looking for, right? I think that will be very, very clear. Guys, thank you so much for joining. As always, have a great Monday. And guys, don't remember to click that like button. And also remember that you make your week perfect. Despite whatever could happen, I wish you a perfect week, fill up with gains and of course with happiness. Other than that, guys, see you guys tomorrow.
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered. We're rolling up sound off to get with them. The ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni. You know what I mean.
That was awesome,